All right, let's try this again. How you doing, everybody? You doing all right? Good. Hope so. Been having to put up. Been having to go through some job coaching stuff, and I normally try to keep the swearing to a minimum around here. Y'all know that, and I try to keep certain opinions to a minimum. Shoot, I even decided it it'd be a good idea for me to have a new main account that is way more friendly. Doesn't change how I'm going to operate my Discord. Because let's be real. Why would you be in a relevant enough place for Discord? For them to check your Discord. But no matter. Here we are. Lions versus Mariners. The final game that I'll be covering for the Lions for this season. Yeah, hockey season is starting to wind down. We'll see if they actually do make the playoffs. If they, the Gargoyles ain't going anywhere, so the next game I cover for them will be the final game I cover for them. For the Lions, it depends on whether or not they make the playoffs. So right now, the best chance to cover anything playoffs is going to be either the Phantoms, if I decide to cover them, or the Ghost Pirates, which I will be still be making do with ECHL coverage. If only a single ECHL team covers makes it to the playoffs, I'll cover all their games. No questions asked. They gotta do the Canadian national anthem first because they're playing in Maine. So, something to keep in mind. When you have teams from multiple countries, you play the visitors' anthem first, then you play your home anthem. Even if it's a neutral site game in another country, you play the visiting anthem first, and then your home anthem. That's why whenever the Lions are in the United States, they play the Canadian national anthem first, followed by the U.S. national anthem. It's also why when the NHL decides to do their other country games, like in Sweden or something, they play the anthems of the teams that are involved first. Like if you have a Canadian and an American team, both of those go first depending on the designations. And then they play the home country anthem. Anyway, and speaking of NHL, apparently there may have been something that came out that may have actually started to come out regarding some Stars fans. Whatever it is there. It is under investigation. I'm not gonna say what it's over for the sake of my own status. But I will get into the game itself over here. So, the Lions really need to win this game in order to stay alive for the playoffs. If you take a look in the standings, the Lions are quite a distance away from Adirondack. So there's a pretty strong chance they're going to get eliminated in the future in these remaining games. But in it net for the Lions right now is Hunter Jones. And then for the Maine Mariners, in at net is Brad Arvanitis. That still sounds like it's that still sounds like it's a disease. Like I would hate to be the doctor that has to put up with. I would hate to have to be the doctor that has that one patient come into the office is about their medical condition and it's like celebrating win into the office today. Well, there think there's a chance I got an arvinitis. I would hate to be that one medical doctor who has to. I would hate to be the doctor who ends up with that one patient. Like I'm not gonna let any changes I have to make to try to be as squeaky clean as possible away from my ability to make fun of things. Just have to be more careful what I do it with. But for the record, I don't I only make I don't make fun of names like it's part of the actual job or actually, like it's all just for it's all just from the perspective of watching the sport in general. I'm sure that Brad Arvinitis I'm sure that Brad Arvinitis probably he maybe he is a nice person to want to get along with. This is this is mainly just for entertainment purposes. But yeah, 2.5 minutes have already passed, and Mariners are in their green jerseys. They ain't got to worry about a thing. They're already in the playoffs. This is just to help determine their seeding. It would help them in the division race to win. And I and if anybody actually caught what happened before, what happened earlier, before everything's gonna go haywire. So what happened? So normally when I do these streams here, by default, I have the settings fixed to where this mic right here is where all the audio goes in from. By the way, there's a broken stick. But it's usually this. I usually have it fixed by default to this mic right here. But for some reason, that setting was reset. For some reason, the setting was actually reset. I don't know why that was, but I only just noticed it when I saw that the mic thing was going when it shouldn't have. So, so I'll probably have to cut. I'll probably try to trim it down in editing for the VOD. I believe I have to trim. I believe I would only have to trim down about 3 or 4 minutes of it. I think I would only have to trim down that much. So fortunately, I was able to catch it at a good time. Fortunately, I was able to catch it right then and there before, or it picked up that before it fully interfered with what's going on here. I tried to make sure that the whole thing with picking up audio from TV doesn't happen that much. Especially if you know who's watching on the copyright world. I don't want that to happen. But yeah, nothing's going on at this point. But the play is finally going to be whistled dead, as Arvanitis had that puck sent to his glove. But no, this is not an April Fool's joke. We actually do have some legitimate hockey. I guess if you want the April Fool's joke to be, oops, audio's playing, then I guess that does technically count as an April Fool's joke. But nope, I'm not joking around here. We don't do April Fool's pranks around here. We do these jokes the way that we normally do. If you want, if you still want an April Fool's joke, here I got an April Fool's joke for you. This April Fool's joke is that Skeletor, yes, that Skeletor, or from the He-Man series or Masters of the Universe, dropped a new album called Money Money Money. It's 10 tracks total. Well, featuring State of Destiny. I'm Jared Leto. We here at Epic featuring He-Man himself. Where dreams come to die. Another layoff. Grind. From your local scalper. You'll buy it anyway. Raising prices. And the iconic Until We Meet Again. You'll be able to find this album from your local scalper. And it'll probably run you around $2,000. That is your April Fool's joke, everyone. Link. There's my contribution for today. Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, Shell Day Off is up there with the Mariners right now. Honest, honestly, without a season that has been in terms of rotations and stuff here or with the Iceman, I honestly forgot Ty Shell Day Off was actually he's still around. Figure he would have gone overseas or gone up to the AHL. Really forgot. So I think he is actually under AHL contract. I don't remember. I know that he is at least. I know that he is at least under a contract with one of the two minor leagues. I know that. And I noticed that there's well, no, there's not a breakaway there at all. But it still goes into the net anyway. Maine strikes first on the board. And it's Jacob Perrault who's able to get it through. I'm starting to notice is that throughout all this, I could have been using these streams as like good practice for like my tone of voice. Not like in a not like tone of voice as in being loud and being quiet. I mean more like tone of voice and be or how sad I I make things or feels good. Oh no! The Rockies actually scored runs. Oh no! I should have been doing stuff like that all the time. Should have probably would have helped me out a good bit. But it would definitely make me more well animated than just being straight up monotone all the time. Because if you couldn't tell from how I talk sometimes, well, I talk in constant motion at times. You'll know that I seem to frequently just be monotone. Nobody likes monotone, am I right? Nobody likes monotone. Y'all want some happiness and excitement, and the Mariners actually need to do so. Nobody wants your bland generics. Hey, I'm working on my. Hey, at least I can actually. I I don't know if it's more natural that I'm starting to get more and more animated, or if it's just the lack of the idea that I. Well, I don't know if it's more natural of me doing it this way in front of a camera, or if I'm actually growing and developing throughout. I know it's been like, I think this month was towards the end of the month, it'll be like what, a year since I started my speech therapy sessions, and I've of course even before then, if anybody was there during the Twitch times, you could definitely hear that there was something there, but not really. So I'm, but even though I have gotten better at being more animated, from what it seems like, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. Apparently now I can manipulate my own accent for roles and stuff. But hopefully I don't have to do so, because if I do so too much, I'm gonna end up offending some people. But if I do have to do this, I'm hoping I can learn from people with similar accents how to actually do it in a nice, friendly way. Because I would love to be able to do so. Oh yeah, I also just recently checked the ancestry thing. Apparently, the vast majority of my ancestry has to do with Scotland and Northern Ireland. Well, more specifically, the Celtic and Gaelics. The Celtics and the Gaelics. Which specific ones? Eh, still need a little bit of time to evolve. I know one thing's for certain. It's that we got ourselves a little bit of action with like struggling to actually have control of the puck, but it'll actually be the Mariners who have a way to control it. That one's turned over. Now the Lions have the puck. Once again, and they once again showcase a little something, but not much. Fight for the puck. Lions try to shoot it, but it's not gonna act. It's just gonna be in the glove of Arbonitis. Oh, gee, I still need to work on my stuttering. Really, still need to work on that. Still need to. But at least I'll be back to some soccer. Something I did notice is that the MLS streams I've been doing have been the ones that have done the most in terms of raw numbers, in terms of the raw numbers, in terms of total views. In terms of the total amount of length, mm, I mean, in terms of total raw views, like there have been they seem to get like hundreds of views is when it's live, or sometimes just afterwards. Now the average amount of time, obviously nobody's gonna want to stick around for a full 2 to 3 hour stream for a sports game if they have the ability to watch it, or if they even care to watch it. I'm in. I'm like one person who's like trying to do a little bit of coverage of the littler stuff. Now, if I did check the schedule correctly for this next soccer game, it's actually around the time I will have had a music lesson. But since my regular teacher is gonna be out that day, that opened up space. So I'll be able to do that and go to the hockey game in one day. Urbanitis is getting all the saves in the world. Definitely is. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch over to the glasses here. Try to help out my eyes a little bit. Remember to look after your health, everyone. Remember to look after your health. This has been a rather quick first period. There's only been like what, two, maybe three times, maybe four at most for the play to stop. And we did get a goal. The Lions thought they might have squeaked one in. No, they didn't get that one in either. Arvanitis managing to get all the saves. Lions struggling. They've been showing their struggles as defending champs. It just shows that last season was. There's going to be a whistle blown. Oh, with under 6, they're going to call a penalty. It's a penalty on Shoveldale for holding. So they're going to go to me a timeout. And it'll be a power play for the Lions. Seriously, though, this has been going by rather quick. It was interesting to see. Well, the turnovers. There's all kinds of rinky dinks. But it's definitely interesting. Mm. More serious Robinitis. Oh yeah, the Minnesota Wild can clinch the playoffs of today if things go their way. There's definitely some crazy things that can go on. And, well, despite the best efforts, it's gonna be a successfully killed penalty. Mariners are gonna be back up to full strength as the Lions make another push as that goes into the glove of Arbonitis. So Arbonitis hasn't had any issues so far. And bad timing to have an ad going. Definitely a bad time to go on a commercial break. Hey, for the commentator. And Jones is just going to cover it up. And they're still making sure of some stuff here. Yeah, that save was made there. You can definitely tell certain things have yet to happen. Also, I'm noticing a little bit of weirdness thing here. There's nothing on the total views, and the average view duration keeps going up. That's supposed to happen? I think I need to refresh that page there. See what's going on with that. That can't be right. You can't have 0 views and have that much average watch time. Is it assuming I'm the main viewer? Is there secretly a bot going around? Really hope it's not a bot that's trying to jack things up. Or maybe because there's no viewers that it keeps going up. I am really confused about this. I'm really hoping it doesn't mess anything up. Because as far as I can tell, as far as I can, well, there was almost some extracurricular. If, if someone could help me figure out why average view rate goes up when there's no views, that'd be greatly appreciated. Because I'm rather confused about that. Never had that little thing happen before. I don't get it. Oh, it's the total amount of time people spend watching this divided by total number of views. So wouldn't that be 0 then? If there are no total views? Shouldn't it be 0? I never had that problem before. It's weird. Absolutely weird. Rather confusing. At least we're gonna end up going to the end of the first period. And yep, that's it. Thanks for telling me that. No matter. We go to intermission, I'll be back. Ooh. Okay, so it looks as if things are back to how they should be now. Should be all flats across the board. Good. Being worried there for a moment. And I'm trying to make sure. I don't think. Yeah, they don't leave me with much to bring up. It's hard to keep track of everything. I believe we are about to come back for the second period at this point. I had to make sure everything was set up. Yeah, they're about to go. Yeah, they're going to be back for period number 2. So apparently, Puka has checked himself into rehab. Wonder what's going on there. The second period is underway. Officially. So, there are a few other games going on around the league right now. For your information. There's Walleye Fuel, Nailers Comets. Starting soon is Oilers and Rush. Well, in about another hour. And then also in about another hour is Maverick Steelheads, Thunder Grizzlies, and then way later, Cyclones Night Monsters. So there are actually other games going on across the league throughout the rest of the day. This is not the only game that's on TV. Well, my bad. Not on TV. Available to stream on the expensive service known as Flow Sports. Sorry, but $30 a month is not worth the price of admission. Not for something like this. And the sad part is I have to actually try to make sure or that doesn't get held against me. Like every employer knows you're being hired just to get a paycheck. Every employer knows that. They want to know why specifically you. That's why I was learning about through all this coaching stuff. How much of the coaching stuff will I actually remember off the top of my head? It's hard to say. I know all this rambling I'm having to do right now about the game, or anything else for that matter, ain't going to fly. Nope. Certainly not gonna fly. I'm just hoping I can think of some hypotheticals and stuff for working with a team and resolving a conflict. But yeah, well, there goes the idea of using glasses. Should also point out the Swamp Rabbits are currently on a 3-game losing streak, which is not the kind of thing you want in this late stretch. Because if you lose too many games of what's left compared to everyone else, you won't get in. So there's no room for error, especially if those losses are in regulation. Y'all know I try to keep swearing to a minimum around here. And they're going to do some jump arounds. Lovely. Jumping, 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 jump, 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 jump. Wow, that nearly got in on the wraparound. But Hunter Jones was there to stop it. That's one way to cut it close. Oh, great. Let me just do a quick refresh right here. Standard reasons as to why I don't like Flow Sports as a service. Also, if you're wondering why the camera is at a more awkward angle than usual, well, tilted a little bit more towards a certain direction than usual. Uh, It's again due to job coaching. It's a job coaching. I have to make sure the angles are just right for it because I don't want to show them. Because I only want to show my job coaching why I want to show them. If they happen to see all those movies there, if they happen to see that Heisman flag, if they happen to see all those sticks and stuff, then that's what they happen to see. I don't want them to see the corner of my bed. Well, I actually don't want to see my bed in general. So that's why you got. That's the good thing I like about some of this particular camera here. It's a very flexible camera. You can adjust the angle to how you want it. If the particular angle you want is a little bit lower, lower. If you want it to be a little bit higher, then higher. Makes it easier for certain kinds of content that I probably would not do at this point. Is that the April Fool's show Fightful's going with, or what AEW General is going with? Chris Jericho's back in the AEW. Like he didn't even leave the AEW. Is that going to be their April Fool's joke? Did the Onion decide to possess him? Their only chance is to get another goal, and it's been stopped time and time again. Hunter Jones doesn't want to allow a second goal. Really doesn't. And that's not going to be a nice thing. And it'll actually be all good to advance for the Mariners. Jones covering. Mul- no, it's not lined up to where they could get it in. Mine is now trying to advance the puck. Lions want to try to get on the board, but they can't. It's turned over. Mariners trying to line it up. Try to make a pass. Couldn't do it. Mariners shooting it through the neutral zone. Trying to go some back and forth. That's a turnover. But the Mariners are able to regroup. And now it shows over the shoulder of Jones. Some of those angles just aren't that friendly to you. Those angles just aren't that friendly to you. The more think about it. And are they gonna get the Mariners on too many men? It's being talked over. Seemed like they stopped play there. Trying to, or is trying to sort it out. I think it might be possible they may have caught the Mariners for too many men. But they're doing a media timeout while they get it sorted out. Yeah, they're just going through the media timeout here, and we'll see what the verdict is. No penalty. That's the call. No penalty. I guess apparently Chris Jericho really is back. So it just goes on like normal. No penalty or anything. On and on. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. We didn't call too many men on yet. There's nothing to see here. The puck was like off the glass or something. It was out play, at least. But there have been all kinds of places making use of things. No icing. They're just gonna let it go. Yeah, play's still gonna keep going. And now they're gonna get all gathered up. Looks like they're gonna get Jacob Peralt on a penalty. They're gonna get him on a cross check. So the Lions will once again be on the power play. So what the set? Yeah, I can imagine the fans want to watch hockey. That shot off the post didn't go all that well, did it? And it, man, and that was stopped from going in on the rebound. The shot. Arvanitis is able to actually he stopped some pucks. That one went in his glove. That first period goal from Jacob Peralt, who's in the penalty box, has really been the only thing that has made a difference in this game so far. As we are quickly approaching that halfway mark of the game. I think that a penalty has been now over. My bad. Wrong one. I meant to update that. There we go. Penalty is over. Oh, never mind. The penalty was actually still going. Somebody messed up. But it's likely gonna end on a successful kill anyway. I ain't too worried. Yeah, figured. Yeah, I figured that penalty would end just like that. And that's a shot that is wide. All kinds of things here. The Trailblazers have been fined $100,000 for illegal contact with Yang Hansen 2 years ago prior to the 2025 draft. With general managers, with assistant general managers, Mike Smith and Sergio Oliva, being suspended for a period of time. Huh. Yeah, I've been having to be careful of the April Fool's stuff. Given what people are given how not fun they can be at times. Another wide shot. Matchy spending a little bit more time on this now. Lions have the puck now. Shot towards the wall. Taken back by somebody. I don't know who, but somebody. But okay, it's the Mariners. Mariners. Not pretty much stopped from doing what they wanted. Lions taking it the other way. I know last time these two played for the streams, it was the Lions who won it. And it was making use of a different coloring method. I will say, I much prefer the coloring method that I'm using now. Simply because it feels like they're. Because if you notice, the use of more. The, the usage of gray seems to work a little bit better. And not to mention, there's a better way to instinctively tell which team is which. For those that have the difference in the similar colors and not the same way it is handled. You know what I mean? Like the similar colors, different shades, or something like that kind of thing. Like with the Lions, you still have your blue, but they're different shades, and you have a whites. And with the Mariners, you have a different kind of blue that makes it feel a little more oceany, but also have the green instead of white. It's those differences like that help make a difference. Plus, I don't think a graphic like this didn't wouldn't have popped as well on a brighter white. The brighter white I was doing before. Because when I was doing the brighter white, it didn't sit right. If you catch my drift. Even then, I tried a little gradient thing, but that particular gradient didn't go as well. But there is going to be a penalty coming up. Ref had his arm in the air. I wonder if they're going to call for goaltender interference. Everybody's got her up there. I think they're going to further discuss it. Yeah, it's going to. Yeah, they're going to call interference again. They're going to call interference against Edouard Charn. So now the Mariners will get a chance at power play. Yeah, I saw what happened. I saw that Arvanitis wasn't able to actually do what he was supposed to be able to do as a goalie. It looked as if he may have had a little bit of a stumble during that process. I wonder if that was what led to the penalty. He was like, hey, no, hey, look what you did to the goalie right there. We're going to call that. He was like, hey, yeah, we caught you on that interference. Yeah, goalie interference. They're gonna show the replay here. Yeah, that's interference. Arvanitis was knocked straight into the net with the puck nowhere to be seen. So now the Lions got to try to kill this one off. I was just seeing that whole thing that popped up. Ah, second period, man. Well, granted, this game has been going by rather quickly. More quickly compared to others. Given how things have been, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the second straight game that we end up with a 1-0 game. I'll definitely be making sure to get some stuff ready to go for soccer. I mean, granted, you're definitely going to see some, yeah. Well, that puck came out before they could even be covered up. It must not want to be covered up. It just ran away on its own like magic. Also, happy baseball season to those who celebrate it. Enjoy this season when you still can. You're gonna have to. Just enjoy the baseball when we still got it. Because we may not have it after this. And there's the save by Jones. Little bit of pushing and shoving after the play. It's looking increasingly like this will be a kill. This will be a killed penalty. But yeah, it's still in the zone. But that's it for the penalty. And now Sherrod is out with 3 minutes to go in the second period. That first penalty goal is still what's deciding the game right now. So if you're looking for fireworks, this ain't the place. You can tell how hard it is to commentate a hockey game when you have to keep watching so many bodies in this particular motion. Do we have to make the nets wider for the both? Well, maybe not for the Mariners. They're still doing just fine. It just feels more like at some point they're going to end up playing Prevent D. Or somebody's going to end up playing Prevent D. Because as we all know, Prevent D prevents something. Prevent D prevents winning. I don't get why everybody goes into Prevent D in the NFL. So many defenses in the fourth quarter go into Prevent D. Even though time and time again it has shown doing so has led to a loss. How can they not get it in their heads? You can tell boring it is. At least there's some penalties called this time. Arbonite is able to stop that. Apparently there was a roll somewhere in there. I will say it will be interesting to see how far some of these teams get if they do make the playoffs. As we head on down into the final minute of the second period. Remember, the person who got the puck down with the hand has to be the first person to touch it on their stick. Yeah, you're telling me it's a goaltending duel. One broke rather early on. In remaining a stone wall. The other, well, they've been a stone wall the entire game at this point. Time winds down. Both sides still struggling. Goalies have just been on their A game tonight. They've been the MVPs. And that's the second period done. And nothing really changed this time. All that changes, well, just the fact that there's been a power play to both sides now. And so we're going to take a little break and we'll be back for the third period. Or if I come back before the end of the intermission. All right. Managed to come back just in time. Well, maybe 10 minutes in time. We're just going through the interview thing right now. Oh, apparently somebody decided to do a play on the Mario Galaxy movie poster thing. If you have Fox the Cloud in advance. And did one where it's Sega Illumination, the Super Big the Kurt Galaxy movie. And here's your April Fool's thing about the Nintendo thing. Everyone's going on about the Wii U too. And all it is, it's just Switch 2 if it was in the shape of a Wii U gamepad and such. Mm. Ah! Uh, that, I bet that was April Fool's. I bet this particular post I just saw is an April Fool's. Yep. It was just a post that is definitely not gonna go so well. That is an April Fool's joke. We all know Shao will be back. It's just an April Fool's joke. That's on a Discord server channel thing. We'll still go on. Don't worry about it. Shao will still be able to appear in those AI Sonic videos. It's just done for an April Fool's joke. Something to do with a certain syndrome that I'd rather not mention. We're all about inclusivity around here. And we have to be careful of what we say about particulars. But we tend to be inclusive around here. Oh, they're about actually showcasing the players outside the ice to fans. You mean teams to actually do that? Andy Kaufman, what have you been doing this whole time? Seriously, I do think that Andy Kaufman does, in fact, still care about the Iceman to an extent. Just that you can definitely feel how much more corporate it's been. That doesn't mean I don't. That doesn't mean the current ownership doesn't care. I'm sure Andy Kaufman still at least cares. I'm sure Kaufman still cares enough about the Iceman and to actually make moves accordingly. And they are about to come back for third period. They're out there on the ice. And yeah, they're got her back up together for the third period. Yeah, that's a good point. Ugh, Yoga get 7 or 8 goals in the third in this period. Really, I was when you were phrasing there, I was expecting you to go for go for one of the funny numbers, but third period's underway. I did go through the special toothpaste status, see how that goes. Trying to make sure some stuff here. I think I will end up having some people back for Saturday since it's soccer. And they're having their little talk back and forth, and now here comes the Lions. They get it through the net. Jeez, they had that little turn all that tall thing. We had ourselves a Lions goal. It's Nicholas Gerard. Good luck with that name. Who nails it in? For the Lions, and this game is tied. That was a quick response to open up the third period. A very quick response at that. So yeah, Lions managing to show they still have some fight left. And I can definitely tell you, things are gonna be just fine. Get the rapping. Rapping. Gotta get it rapping. And you can tell that, jeez, talk about a wild set of circumstances. All that for a puck to get loose. You're gonna start wondering how long it'll be before someone ends up scoring a winner. And I can definitely see this one going to overtime. Shoot, it might be possible this might be the first game that ends in a shootout. You never know. And now that's taken about Alliance. They scored it in again. And now the tide has shifted. Cedric DeRusso gets it in. 2 goals within the first 5 minutes of the third period for the Lions. And now they have to lead. 2 rapid responses from the Lions. That puck played right into their hands. So now it's going to become a question of if the Lions go into prevent D. Going to prevent D in the third period. What a wonderful idea. And now there's a realistic chance this could end the exact same score as it did last time these two met. Because this was the final score right here. 3 goals in a row. Unanswered. It was playing of 6 minutes. Morganhouse Moisen just going all the way down. All the way down to do it. Now we're right at that exact score I was trying to mention. I bring it up for like 1 second and it's like, oh, hold up, I gotta switch back over. Yeah. Four goals within the first 6 minutes of the period. And now there's going to be a penalty against Jake Gravel. He's going to be caught for tripping. This is like some Ohio State stuff. Yeah, have a close competitive game for majority of the time. Then comes down around the fourth quarter, for this case, third period. Just ram up the score on everybody. Yeah, just run up the score in the final part of the game. Just run it up. Nothing is here if all just your average puck kicking. So the Mariners have a power play. And they managed to take advantage of it. They make it back within one. And it's for Jacob Hudson to send it into the net. A power play goal to cut the Lions lead down to one. We're getting a bunch of first half fireworks today. Man, and I had to be ready for something else here. Crazy first half, ain't it? And now the Lions will get a chance to earn a power play. And it is against Zach Jordan for interference. Zach Jordan's up there in Maine. Huh. No, I keep forgetting about that. Keep forgetting about some of these guys. I don't pay that much attention to where they all go, and I need to refresh this thing again. Because what loveliness is this? I have to do a quick refresh on that. So, yeah. Yeah, I got. Yeah, it doesn't look much like. Jeez, yeah, that penalty's over. I mean, listen to an album now, and I have to deal with some noise. Yeah. A lot of moving parts. That was, keep in mind, this was all just the first half of the period. It's about to enter the second half of the period, so there's no telling what goes on here. And I think that was saved by Jones. I have to try to go back and forth. This is probably one of the harder parts of having to do this, especially with multiple laptops, is having to balance between listening to a music album when it comes up and yeah. And a variety of things can occur. So, there hasn't been much of the. Well, yeah, that just didn't even get anywhere into the net. At the, I'm telling you, having to balance between hearing two different things at the same time is a little more difficult. There's the save, and we got ourselves some extracurricular shopping. So they're taking a little bit of a timeout to fix some issues on the ice. Yeah. It's just been. I think they're starting to slow down on stuff now. I think they're starting to slow down on stuff now. If I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to keep track if I can. Yeah, they definitely started calming it down at this point. It'll try to start heating back up whenever or somebody pulls a goalie. Had a little slip right there. And they do stop the whistle there. They just go right back to center. No breakaway chance there. Also, that puck got knocked away rather quickly. And try and keep an eye on on if another goal is scored by the Mariners and if they decide and when they decide to pull the goalie. We're creeping up on that little moment there. I'm trying to not let the audio of it pick up either. Again, it's hard to keep track of two things at once like this. It's hard, okay? But I haven't seen Much of anything, no worry just yet. But the Mariners do have the puck. And Mariners regroup again. 6 minutes to go in regulation. Going all the way down the ice. No good angle to line it up. Puck has to go back the opposite way again. And I think that went straight into the glove of Arvanitis. I think. As they go to me a timeout. They are back for me a timeout. Jeez, they can't even get past the face off into the zone. Can you believe that? They can't get through that? They did actually continue to play. I'm trying to keep track of when I hear something about an empty net. Because it's possible the Mariners will eventually do it. Nobody has scored in a hot minute, so they will eventually do it. And that's covered up by Hunter Jones. So, a bit of a discussion from the ref. Make sure they got the right spot and stuff. I'm trying to keep track here. Yeah, soon enough, Arvanitis is going to get pulled. And yeah, Arvanitis is still trying to keep the puck out. And Arvanitis is trying to stop the puck and cover it. They're having a face off at center ice now. But it is pretty much at that range. Try and keep an eye on when the Mariners do it. Think they did it? Nope, he's still out there. So 2:41 left. And I think he's been pulled. Ooh, Tennessee 6. It is pretty much that range anyway, so I'll just go ahead and declare empty net. But yeah, if they didn't pull it before, or they definitely pulled it, will have pulled them right before this face off here. But yeah, they're just not. Apparently, couldn't even get far before having to redo the face off. Yeah, the Mariners are gonna try to go for that tie. a draw in fourth overtime. And no, they actually didn't pull him. Interesting. So they never pulled him. That's surprising. I was wrong. Now he's off the ice. But it is final minute. They need to score now, or the game ends here. I'm surprised they didn't pull until then. No. That didn't even get a chance to go in. Now it's a race for the puck, and not the way. That's gonna do it. Lions also take this one and get the regulation win, 3-2. They managed to do it. So that's actually it for, well, this particular game right here. So I don't really have much of an ending to it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Lions, I'll keep an eye out. Uh, until next time, travel safely.